Albert Einstein. The name is synonymous with genius, with wild white hair, a twinkle in his eye, and the mind that unlocked the secrets of the universe. He's the quintessential mad scientist, but the friendly, harmless kind. But what if I told you that the story we all know is only half the picture? What if behind that iconic face was a man of profound contradictions, personal turmoil, and a life so controversial it attracted the attention of the most powerful surveillance agency on Earth? This is the dark side of Albert Einstein. His genius didn't start with a flash of light. It started with the scream. When Einstein was born, his own grandmother took one look at him with his swollen, misshapen head and shrieked, "Much too fat." And as he grew, he was a difficult child. Contrary to the popular myth, he was a brilliant student in mathematics, mastering advanced calculus by 15. But he clashed so fiercely with the rigid system that at just 16, he did something drastic. He renounced his German citizenship, choosing to become a stateless citizen of the world. It was at university that he fell for Mileva Marić, the only woman in his physics class, an intellectual partner. But their story was far from a fairy tale. Before marriage, they had a daughter, Liesl, whose fate became one of history's great mysteries. She simply vanished, a hidden chapter that marked the beginning of a painful end. The brilliant partnership shattered, with Einstein later presenting his wife with a cruel list of conditions for staying together, demanding she stop talking when he requested and expect no intimacy. When he fled the Nazis for America, he was welcomed as a hero. But behind the scenes, a different story unfolded. The FBI, under the paranoid J. Edgar Hoover, saw him as a threat. For 22 years, they built a 1,427-page file on him, tapping his phones and opening his mail. Why? Because he was an outspoken pacifist, a socialist sympathizer, and a fierce critic of American racism. The surveillance was so intense that Hoover personally tried to have Einstein banned from the United States, only to be overruled. The man who would become America's most iconic scientist was almost kept out as an undesirable alien. And then there is the greatest shadow over his legacy: the atomic bomb. While he was a lifelong pacifist, his equation E equals mc squared was its foundation. It was his letter that urged President Roosevelt to begin nuclear research. He later called this the one great mistake of his life. The man who sought to understand the pure beauty of the universe was forever haunted by the mushroom cloud. A man tortured by the destructive power of his own ideas. So, who was Albert Einstein? A genius, yes. A kind, grandfatherly figure, sometimes. But he was also a stateless rebel, a difficult husband, a radical political, and a human being painted not in pure light, but in contrasting shades of brilliance and darkness.